Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
This is Carefree Arizona Mayor John Crane. You're listening to the Varsity Sports Show hosted by Carefree's favorite son, Vince DeLisio, who was just awarded Carefree's Man of the Year and given the key to the city. Oops, I just perjured myself.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
This program is made possible by Friends of the Varsity Media Foundation,
a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization.
You are listening
to the Varsity Sports Show.
You are listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
On AM 1060 KDUS Arizona.
Still the home of youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. And now,
welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show here on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. My name is Vince DeLisio, and what an amazing morning. It is Saturday, February 4th, 2023. A beautiful Saturday morning here out at Hubbard Radio in East Phoenix. I grew up around here. I know I say this all the time, but I used to ride my bike around here as a kid, and when I started driving, I had a little Toyota Land Cruiser four-wheeler and that me and my dad fixed up. And back then, you didn't have salvage titles. You got a car from the junkyard, and you didn't have airbags. You didn't have any of that stuff. You just fixed cars, and I used to go romping at Papago Park with that thing. Yeah, I know it wasn't exactly legal, but I used to do it anyway in high school. And it was a lot of fun. So got stuck a couple times too, but that wasn't fun. Anyway, welcome and good morning. Thank you for joining us here on the Varsity Sports Show. Another amazing, jam-packed, fun-filled morning. We're changing things up a little bit. I am joined, as we have been and as we will be all spring long, by a couple of members of our amazing broadcast and production team. We'll get to know them shortly, but also want to give you a breakdown of what we're doing. Today, we have kind of tabbed it as basketball day here on the Varsity Sports Show. We're featuring a lot of basketball, and the reason why we're doing that is, number one, it's been an incredible season. It's been such a fun season here for Arizona high school basketball. So we're featuring some special guests live, some people that are really making an impact in the community and have been for years and years and years. I'm just thrilled, and it just happened to be a weekend that we had a lot of guests that were basketball coaches, so we called it Basketball Day here on the Varsity Sports Show. So let me go through this list. First of all, Ricky Kishbaugh, he's the head boys basketball coach at Buckeye Union High School. Regina Early, the legendary coach Regina Early, women's basketball coach at Buckeye. Our old friend, Coach Lucas Ramirez, Saguaro SaberCats boys basketball coach. He's a lot of fun and to talk to, and he's also gives us access like you wouldn't believe. We mic him up. His dad's probably not too happy because when they've had a couple rough games, he lets out some expressions that we've had to go in and bleep. But he's still a good sport about it. Matthew Randall from Trivium Prep. Amazing win the other night at the buzzer over major rival, Arizona Lutheran. We had a chance to broadcast that game. It was a great game throughout, back and forth. They were up by as much as 16, lost the lead, and then came back, battled back, and really delivered when it mattered. So Coach Randall will be joining us in hour number 2. Coach Al Luna, Imagine Prep basketball. We are broadcasting Imagine Prep this Monday night, 6 p.m., out at their place. So we'll be running the production for that game, and looking forward to hearing from Coach Luna in hour number 2. And then we're featuring GCU Club women's hockey. So we go from basketball to a little bit of women's hockey. Natalie Rossi, she is the coach out for Grand Canyon University's club women's hockey team. Guys, bet you didn't know they had one, but and a lot of you do, but because it's pretty popular sport out there. So it'll be a lot of fun. And then we've got some great contributions from our team. Now, let's get to know our team. Left to right. Let's start with Beatrice Martinez. Beatrice is a graduate student at Cronkite. She's joined our broadcast team. Beatrice, good morning.
Good morning, Vince.
You've been doing a lot of good stuff for us. We'll find out in just a minute exactly what it is. Jacob Seaver, you're a sophomore out at Cronkite.
That's right. Definitely excited to be here with you, Vince.
All right. Excited to have you. And then, of course, the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Eric Castellan. Eric is a senior at Cronkite. Eric, how are you?
Good. Vince, how are you?
I'm all right. Thank you. Okay, let's get to know each of you guys before we roll into the rest of the show, starting with Beatrice. Beatrice, you're local. You grew up here. You're a Chandler graduate. And so you went away to school. You came back. Now you're enrolled and working on a master's degree at Cronkite. What kind of stuff are you doing for us this semester?
Yeah, so far I've been doing a little bit of camera work. I've been doing some color analyst, and also my first time doing play-by-play, so that was really fun, getting out of my comfort zone. But yeah, just really working on the broadcast side of things, and I've really been enjoying it, and it's been such a pleasure working with, all of my colleagues here. So really looking forward to the rest of the semester.
What's interesting is that I don't want to make this about gender, but I am for about 10 seconds here, in that there aren't a lot of play-by-play broadcasters that are females, and you've jumped into the role. We've had broadcast members in the past that have done it for our show, that have done an amazing job at it. You picked it up the other night. You called the Canyon View basketball game. You did a pretty good job with it.
Thank you. Yeah, it was, like I said, out of my comfort zone, but I played basketball, in high school and 1 year in college, so it's not anything brand new to me. But it's definitely a different element when you're not just saying it in your mind, but you're verbally having to say everything like play by play. So it was very fun.
It's a little different from doing analysis to doing to being the play by play, because you find, and we talk about this all the time, when you're doing analysis, it's very, very peripheral. You're talking about things going on around the game. When you're doing play-by-play, it's just you call what you see. You're very linear. It's right there. This is what it is, but you're doing it all game long. So what do you think? Is it something that you think you could do?
I mean, again, it was my first time. I tried to make it seem like I didn't let that be known, but it was my first time, and I think it's something that I am interested in. I would be definitely interested in doing a little bit of more and seeing how that goes. I've always been kind of stuck on, just being more on-camera talent. So I think just doing, like you said, there's not a lot of female broadcasters. So one of the females that I do look up to is Candace Parker. She was in the WNBA and then moved to, doing some color analyzing as well. And now she's going back to the WNBA. So I think it's something definitely that I'll keep my mind open to.
All right. Thank you, Beatrice. The young buck, Jake Seaver. Jake, you've really taken this project and really run with it. You're the play-by-play broadcaster. You've done some stuff for Saguaro. You've done some color analysis. Your partner sitting next to you, Beatrice, you guys have called a couple games together where you've been in the play-by-play role and she's been the analyst, and vice versa this week. How are you liking it?
Oh, I love it, Vince. Honestly, every moment of doing it, I just feel like I'm fulfilling another step towards my passion. I'm originally from Atlanta, Georgia. Grew up in the city, and I never had cable television growing up, so I would always listen to the Hawks games on the radio. I would listen to Steve Holman, legendary Hawks broadcaster, been doing it for over 30 years for the Atlanta Hawks, and growing up listening to his games every single night, I developed a very quick passion for radio play-by-play, and what this has allowed me to do is it's allowed me to kind of experiment with getting out there in the field and meeting the players, meeting the coaches, and then, being able to actually broadcast the games just really makes me feel like I'm fulfilling my passion, and I couldn't have asked for anything more. And again, Vince, it's all of this that makes this possible, and, I just really appreciate it, and I'm really, really happy to be here this morning.
Awesome. Happy to have you. Now, Eric, you're doing some broadcasting as well, and your passion is baseball, but you're also the beat writer for us, assigned to cover Sun Devil athletics every week.
Yeah, it's nice that I'm able to cover my own school. I mean, it's basically my backyard, so I'm able to, kind of know everything that there is to know. And then, I'm trying to broadcast baseball this spring. It'll be interesting. Baseball is definitely my comfort zone, and I can't wait to do that come, March and April. But for now, I'm just having fun, just going where the road takes me, and it's been fun so far. So.
All right. We'll learn more about you guys and hear from you guys as the show goes on. Let's get a little coach's spotlight. Aaron, take it away. Perfect.
The bright lights shine on the players on the field and on the court, but it's time to shine a light on the sidelines. Welcome to the Coach's Spotlight, where we highlight and learn about a coach in Arizona. This is the Coach's Spotlight on the Varsity Sports Show. Welcome back to the Coach's Spotlight. I'm your host, Sabrina Giles, and I'm here with Coach Ben Cullis. Coach, how are you doing today?
Doing well. How are you?
I'm good. I'm kind of slouched. It's been a pretty long day, but still good.
Yeah.
All right, Coach, give us a little bit of background about you. Obviously, football coach. Tell us a little bit about, your journey, football coach, what you're doing right now.
Yeah. So I am an Arizona native. I grew up in Northwest Peoria, and I graduated Liberty High School. Went and played college football in South Dakota, and learned I don't want to be in the Midwest, and quickly came home to student teach at Peoria High School. And I got my first teaching job at Mountain Ridge, and I've just started coaching right away. Did 5 years at Mountain Ridge as the varsity defensive coordinator for 3 of those years. And then I got my first head coaching gig in my 6th year teaching, 2021, at Raymond S. Kelly. So I just wrapped up my 2nd year there. Looking forward to our 3rd. But that's kind of a brief review of where I've been and everything like that.
Yeah, so obviously, Coach Cullis, we've talked about, you're working at Kellis High School as, the football coach and everything. For those of you who do not know, that's basically pretty close to State Farm Stadium. How far of a drive would you say that probably is?
Yeah, I mean, it's walking distance. It's they have built little townhouses there now, but I remember as a kid going to Cardinals games and parking and tailgating in what is just across the street from Raymond S. Kellis. It was a Kellis parking lot, and they used to have school buses that would transport you to the game. So it's very cool being back there.
What do you hope that obviously fans who are coming in, see about that community in general, or even Arizona in general, that they probably would not have known?
Yeah, I hope for people coming in out of state, I hope that they don't move here, but they really enjoy it, because there's too many people. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know. I think Phoenix has so many things to offer. This time of year is just beautiful too, for anyone who likes being outside. Just even being on a patio in a restaurant, there's so much to see, so much to do. But specific to our area, I hope they see all the new businesses going up. I mean, our area is exploding. It was once a bunch of chicken coops, and then they built the high school, and then there was still a bunch of farmland, and now it's all getting developed. And so there's some really, really exciting things going in that Westgate area, and just down the road from us. So hopefully if it's a local that's checking out Westgate just to say that they could be around the Super Bowl area, hopefully they see what our little local community has there to offer.
And I know I told you, the last one was going to be the last question, but I feel like it's only right I ask you this question. Get it, Cardinals fan. but Chiefs or Eagles?
With a man with no horse in the race is going to say the Chiefs, and it's going to be close, but the Chiefs.
There we go. We have our answer. Coach, thank you so much for being here on this special edition of Coach's Spotlight, Super Bowl edition. Would not want to do it with anyone else besides you, and it was hilarious as well. But I really appreciate you, taking the time. Obviously, it's been a long day, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
And thank you to you for listening to the Coach's Spotlight on the Varsity Sports Show.
Bringing you the latest sports topics weekly right here on KDUS AM 1060 with me, the Doug Gottlieb Show, 1 to 3 p.m.
Hey everyone, I'm Caleb Wiley. I'm from the LA area and I study sports journalism at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism at ASU. From being the sports editor at my high school to being a broadcast reporter for Cronkite News, I like to say I bring a nice versatility to the show. Whether it's in front of the camera or behind the scenes, can't wait to bring you guys high school sports content on the Varsity Sports Show. See you guys there.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk to you about a good friend of mine named Bob Jenkins. Bob is a Marine Corps veteran. Bob and his younger brother DJ own Vets Built Contracting. You've seen their trucks around Metro Phoenix, I'm sure. For 5 years, they've been hiring and putting veterans to work. Vets Built is licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial, specializing in renovations, remodeling, new build, casitas, safe rooms, or small commercial TI work. If you're a skilled veteran looking for work, a homeowner in need of work, or a commercial business needing TI work, please call Bob or DJ at Vets Built at 480-584-3675.
Training Better Athletes was founded by renowned football coach Ron Sowers with the philosophy of training well-rounded young people in mind and body. TBA is the go-to for middle schoolers through the pros. Coach Sowers has worked with all sports but specializes in football offensive and defensive line skills training. Whether it's one-on-one or group training, reach out to Coach Sowers at trainingbeterathletes.com or call him at 602-435-9064. You can't cheat the grind.
Hi, my name is Jacob Seaver with the Varsity Sports Show, and I am currently a sophomore at Arizona State University's Walter Cronkite School for Journalism and Mass Communication. I am excited to be on the mic this year and looking forward to bringing you some of the best high school and JUCO content that the world has to offer. Definitely looking forward to seeing you and for you to hear me on the Varsity Sports Show.
Hey Phoenix, Doug Gottlieb here. I'm bringing the best sports talk weekdays to you, 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Vince joined in studio by Beatrice, Jake, and do you like being called Jake? I think we talked about this before.
Yeah,
you're a Jacob, but
never had a problem with Jake. I actually,
Okay.
Obviously it's a little bit shorter, one less
Yeah.
syllable, so it's a little bit simpler, and most people
good.
tend to go with it.
Okay, perfect. And then Eric, and so we're joined on the line. Today is basketball day on the Varsity Sports Show. We are joined on the line by Buckeye Union High School head boys basketball coach Ricky Kishbaugh. Coach Kish, how are you, sir?
Good, thank you. Appreciate you.
Coach, you sound like you're in a wind tunnel there. Are you okay? Everything all right?
Yeah,
Oh,
we're
okay.
in the locker room area here, and we're watching the show together.
Oh, nice. Okay, perfect. Well, Coach, we had a lot of fun covering you guys this season. I know that postseason's coming up. You guys are waiting for the bracketing and all that. How are things looking?
Good. I mean, we were sitting at 21 yesterday, and we were monitoring those scores last night to see what happened. So, we're expecting to jump up a little bit here in these final rankings. But overall, it's looking good for us.
Coach, you got some questions from some of our team here, starting with Eric. Go ahead, Eric.
Hey, Coach, it's Eric. A quick question for you. Going into these playoffs, you guys have done very well in the region so far, undefeated. How do you like your chances going into these first couple weeks of the playoffs?
Good. I mean, I believe in my team. Yes, you mentioned our region and doing well there, but we loaded up our freedom games and our tournament games as well, specifically to prepare ourselves for the playoffs. So we played in the Phoenix Union Coyote Classic to start the season, and we hit some, tough 6A schools in that one. I mean, you're looking at Carl Hayden, Basha, Dobson. I believe those are all going to be 6A playoff schools. We hit Horizon in that tournament, which is obviously, I think they had risen as high as 13 in 5A. And then our team went and played in the Tarkanian Classic out in Las Vegas. And we hit some major schools. I mean, we played St. Paul's out of Santa Fe, California. We hit Spring Valley from Nevada. We hit a Florida 7A school. So, yes, my region, we did well in the region. But more importantly, I think we also played some really, really tough competition in our freedom and our tournaments to really prepare ourselves for the playoffs.
And, Coach, how can you speak on the efforts of Jerry Leyva Jr.? Now, I noticed he was one of the standout stars, especially in your guys' comeback performance against Horizon towards the end of the season. How can you speak on his efforts and the contribution that he's made as a team leader?
Oh, man, I mean, Jerry's been my guy for 4 years now. He came into our program as a freshman and played some JV and a little bit of varsity experience his freshman year. And then stuff kind of fell his way, and he got to start his sophomore year, and he's never really looked back. And when you look at that kid and what he brings to our team, it's constant effort, it's constant leadership. His offensive game is refined. I mean, you look at what he did last year. We were a 4A school last year in a really, really tough conference, and the kid got Offensive Player of the Year for that region that we were in last year. And then he's just taken the next step this year. I mean, he's just the other night he had a triple-double. He had 51 points against Yonker. That kid just epitomizes what Buckeye basketball really is. It doesn't matter the level of competition. He's going to rise, and he's got that fight in him. You look at what he did against Basha in the tournament. I mean, Basha's got a freshman starting guard that already has an offer from NAU. You look at, the two games we played against Carl Hayden, and they've got, a couple players with some D1 offers, and he's out there performing and putting up, 30-plus points a night most nights.
All right, Coach. And so speaking of Jerry Leyva Jr., I know you said he's a senior. You have 4 seniors leaving this season. So what are some of the biggest takeaways that you hope your underclassmen take from these 4 seniors on your team?
Man, I mean, just the experience overall, it's high school basketball is only 4 years, and, unless you're one of the top players, usually you only get to the varsity, maybe if you're lucky, the end of your sophomore year, and then you get those 2 years up on the varsity experience, on the varsity level. So what I'm looking for those boys is to just kind of get the experience this year, understand what lessons those seniors can teach them as far as what it takes to prepare and perform for the season.
All right, Coach Ricky Kishbaugh. Coach Kishbaugh, Buckeye boys basketball coach, thanks so much for joining us today. Congratulations on a successful season, finishing overall 12-0 in the region, 15-3 overall, and now just waiting on the bracketing for the postseason. Wish you all the luck in the world, Coach. Thanks again for joining us.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
All right, we got another one, guys. Look, hey, it's basketball day here on the Varsity Sports Show, so we are joined by another legend here, and it's Coach Regina Early. Coach Early is the women's basketball coach out at Buckeye, and had an amazing season herself out there, and we're going to hear from her. Coach Early, good morning.
Good morning.
Coach, welcome to the show. We're so honored and privileged to have you on, and did you just laugh?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Oh, okay. I thought you were laughing at the fact that we referred to you as a legend, because you truly are. I mean, I've witnessed personally how well you connect with your girls out there, and the season that you put together year in and year out. I mean, it's just been amazing. You've really done some great work at Buckeye, and talk a little bit about this season.
Well, this season, it was a little rough at first, but we picked it up. The girls started trusting the process, and that was we had to play defense. We're not tall. We have to do the little things. We got to win the 50-50 balls. We have to rebound and just leave it all out on the floor. So things turned, once we bought into the process, things started turning into our favor.
All right, Coach, I have a question for you. So Amaya Leyva, who's your sophomore, she's leading team right now in points and steals. She's averaging 14.5 points per game and 3.8 steals per game. So what do you hope to see, not only from her in this next season to come, but from all the other players as well on the team? What do you hope to see in this coming up season? I know we're just finishing off this season, but I'm sure you guys will be working off season as well. So yeah, just like I said, what do you hope to see with not just Amaya Leyva stepping up now as a junior, but the rest of your team?
Just everybody trusting each other. When it's your turn, that you do the best that you can. And like I said, just trust the process and let the game come to you. Don't try to force it, but just be patient. And when your time comes, just make the best of it.
And, Coach, another player that I feel like has really stood out for you guys is Kira Avila, another example of a younger star that I think is looking to make an impact in the future. What can we expect to see from her over the next few years with Buckeye?
I know this year she was just put in that point guard position. I think she's answered the call, but I look forward for her to just continue to get better as the year goes on. And then even in the off season, she's willing to put in the work. She wants to know what she needs to work on, and she tries to do exactly. She's learning how to do exactly what the coach says. And like I always tell her, you're a coach on the floor. The way you go is the way the team's going to go.
All right, Coach, I'm going to ask you the same question I asked Coach Kishbaugh. I mean, your team's doing very well here heading into the postseason. How do you like your guys' chances so far? You guys have been playing well, like you said, good defense, good offense. How do you like your chances?
Like I said, we just take it one game at a time, and when that game comes, just continue to play and do what got us there. So we got to continue to play together. Everybody accept their roles and go in there and do the best you can at that moment. You got to go hard. We got to play hard.
Awesome. Thank you, Coach. And then one last question for you. Just kind of going forward, how do you think that you guys will do defensively? Because I know that your team is so skilled offensively, and the fact that you guys are able to play with such versatility is an amazing thing. What is the key to that success? How are you guys able to put it together? I mean, it was just so wonderful to watch you guys play this year. What makes all this possible?
The girls trusting and believing in their teammates, knowing that it takes everybody to make it work. If one person don't do their job, it can hurt us. So everyone just buying in and knowing that they have to play hard. And we're not tall. We know we got to do those little things. And the little things is boxing out. If there's a loose ball, we got to go get it. Every possession, we got to possess every possession and just go after it.
Awesome, Coach. Thank you so much for speaking with us. We really enjoyed that opportunity to speak with you. And then for your guests out there, we also enjoyed that wonderful interview from head coach Ricky Kishbaugh for the Buckeye boys. And just two great basketball teams that we've really enjoyed covering so far this season. Coming up next, we have our exclusive interview with Saguaro SaberCat head coach Lucas Ramirez, and we are extremely excited to share that with you on this beautiful Saturday morning.
Well, I don't know, extremely excited, but Coach Ramirez is a good guy, so we'll have a lot of fun with him. But definitely nice lead in, motivate him to come on the air with us. So excited to have all you guys in studio too. So Jake, thanks again. Great job. We'll be back after the break.
Awesome. Thanks.
KDUS AM 1060 is the home to the Dan Patrick Show, the Doug Gottlieb Show, and Sports Map Radio. Catch all the sports content here on AM 1060.
Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com.
Hello, sports fans. This is Dick Stockton, and you are listening to Arizona's home of youth, high school, college, and you. The Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona.
It's game time, and we're here to win. Hi, I'm Sabrina Giles. I'm a senior at ASU and studying at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications, with my major being sports journalism. I'm excited to announce that this spring I will be working with the Varsity Sports Show to bring you any and all things sports. From commentary to broadcast, I'll be working to cover your favorite teams and make my mark on the world of sports journalism.
Hello, my name is Hannah Pettiferry, and I am currently a student at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications here at Arizona State University. I am beyond excited to be joining the Varsity Sports Show this spring. Growing up, I have always played sports, and now I cannot wait to be able to study, analyze, and commentate on the sports that are being played this season in Arizona.
Catch the Doug Gottlieb Show weekdays from 1 to 3 p.m. right here on KDUS AM 1060 and online at KDUS1060.com.
You're listening to the home of Saguaro Sabercat basketball. The court no good, and the rebound and the putback and on 1060 KDUS Arizona. This is the Varsity Sports Show.
Hello, Sabercat fans. We have got a special one for you today as we are bringing the head coach of the Saguaro Sabercat basketball team, Lucas Ramirez, onto the show. Coach Ramirez, how are you doing this morning?
Hey, good morning, guys. Doing well. How are you?
Doing great. It is wonderful to hear from you. You know, I have really enjoyed following the Saguaro basketball team. You've got some great guys on that team. You know, I was speaking to Mason Burkett through most of the season. I would catch up with him before every game, and just such a nice guy. Anders Mazik is another guy I think I could say just such great guys that I've really enjoyed speaking with. And same with you, Coach. I've really enjoyed getting the opportunity to speak with you, and just want to ask you a couple questions. You know, we've got the Super Bowl coming here to Arizona, and how do you feel about that? You excited?
Yeah, well, first off, appreciate all you guys do for us, and you know, you're right. We certainly have fantastic young men in our program, high character, you know, great students, and just great guys to be around. But yeah, you know, fun time of the year. You know, we wish we were playing for something right now, but you know, there's some fun stuff ahead with the Phoenix Open, Super Bowl. You know, a lot of fun events here in Phoenix, Scottsdale.
And so, Saguaro, you guys played your last game of the season against St. Mary's, and despite the loss, you guys played a great game. I believe Burkett finished with, how many points was it? I'm trying to recall the exact number because I know it was up there. I think
he had 32, I believe, off the top of my head.
32 points, yeah, just a great game for him.
Yeah, not a bad way to end his high school career. You know, he's going to have an opportunity to play somewhere at the next level if he chooses to. I know he's going to have a lot of options. You know, so he's going to be a kid or a young man who's going to be successful in whatever he chooses to do. But you know, I think, or I hope that he chooses to play at the next level. But yeah, no, St. Mary's is a tremendous team. You know, I told Coach Lopez something he probably doesn't need to hear again because he knows it, but he has a really good team, and you know, they're going to have a chance to compete in the Open division and certainly win a 4A state championship. And yeah, no, we shot the ball actually pretty well, close to 50%. The problem is we turned it over way too much and didn't play much defense. But again, just bittersweet, you know, because you're you're sad to see the seniors leave. You wish you had one more day or one more week or whatever it is. But at the same time, proud and appreciative of their contributions. But really, really excited about the young guys coming back.
Absolutely, because I know you guys have, I think it's 7 seniors that are graduating this year, and so definitely going to have to look to the younger guys. But I guess that definitely leads me into my next question of which players kind of stood out the most. I know, again, Mason was definitely a standout star for the better part of the season, but in addition to Mason, which players kind of stood out the most in terms of overall performance and effort?
Yeah, no, it was, people who followed us closely and people who are in our circle, they know, it was an up and down year for a variety of reasons, whether it be injury, illness, other things of that nature. Mason was steady, man, and he was really called upon, especially in the month of January, our last month of the year, to really, really take a load of scoring. And he did his job. But with all that being said, a guy that's been reliable for us for the last number of years, Jeremiah Hines, Andrews Mazik. You can keep going down the line of just guys that we're proud of their commitment and their efforts and contributions to our program in the last couple of years. But again, just really fortunate to be able to have been involved with many of these young men the last 2-3 years of their high school careers, and so kind of tribute to those guys. But we have some young guys too that we're excited about.
Absolutely. And speaking on the younger guys, I know one guy, actually Jeremiah's younger brother, Justice Hines. He's gotten a ton of varsity playing time this year. As I believe, I can't remember, was he a freshman or a sophomore?
Freshman, yeah, and I think due to our injury problems we had the first part of the year, he was thrusted in a role game one, night one. I think our plan was for him to come off the bench the first game of the year when we were up in Flagstaff and maybe get him some minutes here and there. But quite frankly, Justice Hines, the freshman, in his first game at the varsity level, he was the reason that spurred a little comeback. We were down by a little bit up in Flagstaff, and it led to a great double overtime game. We ended up not being able to, unfortunately, pull it out. But, we are not in contention in that game at the end of regulation without Justice Hines. So he set the tone pretty early with his attitude, his effort, his mentality, and that's the one thing. He's not a freshman in terms of his effort, his focus, his passion for the game. He has a burning desire to not only get better but win and compete, and that's what makes him really special.
Absolutely, Coach. Once again, head coach Lucas Ramirez of the Saguaro SaberCat basketball team. Coach, thank you so much for taking the time to speak to us, as always. And, guys, we got some exciting stuff coming up for you. We got the Wildcat Report from MG Armistead. We got MD Around the Globe. We got some great segments for you guys coming up.
Before you transition out, Coach, are you still there?
I'm there.
Okay, so the cultural phenomenon known as Ask Lucas, we're bringing it back next week. Are you excited or nervous?
I'm ready to go. I'm hoping we get some questions.
I can't wait. It's going to be a special one. Yeah, you might hang up on us. Anyway, that's all I had to say. Coach, thanks again. Yeah.
Appreciate you guys as always, and looking forward to continuing the relationship.
Welcome. It's time for your Wildcat Insider with Mary Grace Armistead. Your inside report on Wildcat athletics on the Varsity Sports Show. Let's get started. Hi everyone, it's Mary Grace with your Wildcat Insider for the Varsity Sports Show. Let's get started. First on the table, we have Arizona men's basketball beating Washington after struggling with them at home. Big win for them. I see their confidence going up every day. Next, we have Arizona women's basketball losing to Washington State, but beating Washington. Unfortunately, it ruins their sweep of the Washington schools, but they're coming back to Arizona shortly. Arizona men's and women's tennis both take very tough losses, and they both suffer their first loss of the season. Arizona women's loses to Florida, and Arizona men's losing to Texas, who is a top NCAA contender. So that's as good as you can get right there. Next, we have tons of football commits over the past couple of days, some even local. We have Noah Clement, who's a 6'4", 185th high school edge recruit out of Scottsdale in the 2023 class. We have Zarius Wells, 6'6", offensive lineman out of Chandler High School for the 2023 class. Then we have Jacob Rasmussen, 6'3", defensive end out of Thatcher High School 2023 class. These are all locals, so it's great to see them coming to an Arizona school. Next, we have Benedict Matherin getting Rising Star, including passing Reggie Miller for the most points off the bench by a Pacers rookie with 816 points this season. That's incredible. That's incredible to be on that list, and I'm excited to see what he does in the future. That's all for your Wildcats. I hope you stay tuned for the rest of the Varsity Sports Show. Thank you.
It's more than just a game. Sit back and relax for a global overview of sports and sports cultures, games around the globe, and coverage of countries worldwide. Welcome to Around the Globe with Maya Denise Gaskin. Good morning, Arizona. This is your host, Maya Denise Gaskin, with another segment of Around the Globe Sports. Let's get into it. Today we are talking tennis. The Australian Open Championship took place a few days ago in Melbourne, Australia. Tennis players worldwide are in shock to learn that Serbian player Novak Djokovic played with a 3-centimeter tear in his hamstring. Ouch. This happened during his run to a record-extending 10th Australian Open title tournament. Now, usually this injury would force most players to quit, but like a true champion, Djokovic did not let his injuries stop him from playing. He is currently ranked number 1 in singles by the Association of Tennis Professionals, and he is one of 3 international players that currently hold the record for most Grand Slam titles in their respective singles fields. Up next, this week we have heard news that Ukrainian tennis player Elena Svitolina is leading the call for Russian and Belarusian players to be banned from the upcoming 2024 Olympic Games in Paris. Soon after, Latvia joined Kyiv in threatening to boycott the 2024 Olympics if Russian and Belarusian players are included. It's been a year since President Vladimir Putin's invasion of Ukraine, and athletes from Russia and Belarus have been largely banned from international competitions ever since. However, the International Olympic Committee, or IOC, has opened the door to their competition in qualifiers and potential participation as neutrals in the 2024 Paris Games. We'll have to wait and see if Kyiv and Latvia's boycott threats will be successful and if Russia will be allowed to compete in the upcoming Olympic Games. That's all for me today. Thanks for listening to the Varsity Sports Show Around the Globe segment with your host, Maya Denise Gaskin, on KDUS 1060 AM. And until next week, have a beautiful day.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. This is your girl from the Valley, Beatrice Martinez. So happy to be here. That was our very own Maya Denise. And we were talking a little bit about injuries. And with the amount of years that I've played sports, I've been playing sports since the age of 5. And the only bone that I've broken are my thumbs, which is so funny, right? I know. They look a little deformed, but that's okay. I want to ask my partners here, my co-hosts, Jake and Eric, have you guys ever had any serious injury throughout your sports career?
I can start with one. Freshman year of high school, I partially tore my Achilles tendon. That was not very fun. But luckily it was only partial. Otherwise, I probably wouldn't be playing sports right now. But I'm very thankful that it was just partial. But yeah.
I feel like this question was kind of aimed at me here because I actually do have quite a long list. I have broken a leg, broken a hand, broken toes, which is not fun. So, yeah, I have had quite the list of injuries, mostly baseball related, which is very interesting considering, you'd think, how does someone break their leg playing baseball? But I guess it's a little easier when you get stepped on running down the baseline. So.
Ooh, okay. What about you, Vince?
That's interesting. Fractured foot. Back in the day, we used to get our bell rung, quote unquote bell rung, concussion. I mean, I think I must have had 3 or 4 of those, and the protocols are much different obviously now than back then. Back then it was like coach would say, get back in the game. But yeah, what do we have coming up next?
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we have Eric Castellon, our very own, with the Sun Devil Report here coming up. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. This is the Varsity Sports Show.
Interact with Bob Kemp's poll question on KDUS1060.com. That's KDUS1060.com. And while you're there, check out Bob Kemp's bottom line at KDUS1060.com.
The Varsity Sports Show is proud to partner with SaberCat Athletics. That's right, the Scottsdale Saguaro SaberCats are on the Varsity Sports Show. Join the varsity team as we cover the Cats during the SaberCat Report on Saturday morning's Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, featuring players, coaches, and commentary. Look out for live stream coverage of Saguaro SaberCat sporting events by going to YouTube and searching for Varsity Sports Show, then click that subscribe button to stay up to date. The Saguaro SaberCats are here. Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com. Chris Scott of RE/MAX is Central Oregon's best realtor for anyone thinking of a vacation home or relocation. He's our very own born and raised Phoenician who moved his family to Central Oregon nearly 15 years ago. Contact Chris if you're thinking of exploring beautiful Central Oregon. It truly is living at its best. 541-999-5614. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Shows, it's Dylan.
Hello, hola Arizona. It's your girl from the Valley, Beatrice Martinez. I'm a sports journalism master's student at ASU's Cronkite School of Journalism, and I'm so happy to be a part of the Varsity Sports Show. I, myself, was a hooper and a 3-sport athlete my freshman year of college. I'm very excited to bring you all the coverage of your local high school sports this semester. Are you ready? Let's get it!
Every Monday night, check out Ray Adams as he hosts the Monday Night Golf and Lifestyle Show from 6 to 7 p.m. here on KDUS AM 1060.
It's time for the Sun Devil Report with Eric Castellon, bringing you all the latest sports news around Arizona State University. Good morning and welcome to the Sun Devil Report. I'm your host, Eric Castellon. We have a lot to cover in the world of ASU sports, so let's get right into it. Starting it off with the biggest victory of the weekend, and that would be the Sun Devil hockey team winning back-to-back games for the first time since late November, defeating St. Thomas University on back-to-back nights at Mullet Arena 4-0 and 4-3. The latter was an overtime victory by none other than senior forward Robert Mastro Simoni. Mastro Magic was back at it again, delivering his third game-winning goal of the season, second in overtime, with the first leading to the program's highest-ranked win against then second-ranked Minnesota, also at Mullet. ASU captain Josh Doan led the team with 3 points in the game, including a rare penalty shot converted to tie the game in the second period. Mastro Simoni was very descriptive to the media when telling his story of the play that won the Devils the game.
Yeah, I mean, I gave it to Como, and he kind of let me wind up. He said he was just going to let me and Josh do our thing out there, and he was going to stay back and defend. So I saw that, and I took it, and I looked up and just had one guy to beat, and he turned the wrong way, fortunately, and I got in and saw the goalie open his legs and just threw it right in the 5-hole.
Doan also gave his thoughts on how nice it's been to play at home inside the new Mullet Arena, and how support from the fan base and the raucous atmosphere really attributed to their success this weekend.
Yeah, it's obviously something that's special. I mean, coming into games like this and seeing that you got a full fan base behind you is obviously something super special and something we don't take for granted. I mean, can't really speak for Ducky. He got an opportunity to play in a nice barn the last couple of years, and It's obviously a little different than Oceanside, but just the fan base and the people that are willing to come out to support us, it's huge, and it kind of makes it's what makes it more fun when you're not winning games, and it gives you a little bit of an edge to come back and win some games like this.
The Devils now sit at 13-16 on the season, and up next is a road trip up north to face Alaska Fairbanks in a 2-game series this weekend. Moving from the ice to the hardwood, it was another tough weekend for the men's basketball team, this time away from home. The Devils dropped 2 more games this weekend, bringing their losing streak to 4 games. It began with a loss on Thursday night, 69-66 in overtime to Washington. The Devils shot only 31% from the floor in a game where they had every chance to be in the driver's seat. Despite a gritty second-half performance to force overtime, the Huskies pulled away in the end. There was a chance for the team to bounce back Saturday night at Washington State, but it wasn't to be either. The Devils shot 34% from the floor, but it was the Cougars' 41% shooting from deep that ultimately led to their 75-58 demise. ASU now sits at 15-7 overall, and after starting 6-1, are now 6-5 in Pac-12 play. This weekend, they host both Oregon teams, starting with the Beavers of Oregon State, then the Ducks of Oregon, as they look to bounce back as we get closer to the end of the season. As for the Lady Devils basketball team, they finished their homestand this past weekend against both Washington teams. Friday night against Washington State, a furious comeback attempt in the second half fell just short, and despite forcing the Cougars into 20 turnovers, it resulted in a 61-57 defeat. Then on Sunday, another competitive game where ASU had a chance to win the game in the final minutes resulted in a loss to Washington, 55-53. A late run by the Huskies forced the Devils to play from behind late in the fourth, and they could not come out on top. The Lady Devils are now 7-14 overall and still searching for that elusive first Pac-12 win at 0-10. Next up is a road trip to California this weekend to take on both USC and UCLA. And finally, moving on to football, the Activate the Valley campaign by new head coach Kenny Dillingham has finally produced the big splash that the program needed. 4-star quarterback Jaden Rashada committed to ASU on Wednesday in a move that surprised quite a few people. It was surprising because he backed out of his commitment and NIL deal with Florida, and after a visit to Tempe and also TCU, it seemed like he'd be heading to Fort Worth to play for the up-and-coming Horned Frogs. But he decided to attend his father Harlan's alma mater and play in the desert and lead this program over the next few years. With spring practices also right around the corner, this Sun Devil group is going to be a team to watch come August. Well, that's going to do it for this week's segment, but make sure to tune in next week where I'll have more weekly updates on hoops and also a preview of both the baseball and softball teams. But until next week, I'm Eric Castellan, and thanks for tuning in to the Sun Devil Report on the Varsity Sports Radio Show.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. This is Beatrice Martinez. Can you believe we have officially entered Super Bowl month? It's finally February, the month we have all been waiting for. Airbnb and hotel prices are crazy high right now. I mean, even a Motel 6 in Glendale that's close to State Farm Stadium is starting at $854 a night. What? It seems the closer you get to State Farm Stadium, the more expensive the hotels and Airbnbs are going to be. Now, it's no secret that housing prices in Arizona have increased dramatically throughout the years, but these Super Bowl rentals are pretty expensive. According to AZ Central, travelers can be expected to pay anywhere from $300 to $600 a night if they plan to stay in cities in close proximity to Glendale, so that's Scottsdale and other metro Phoenix cities. The lowest price AZ Central found searching through hotel and travel websites was a $225 stay per night at a Super 8 motel about 11 miles from State Farm Stadium. It looks like prices are only going to increase the closer we get to the big day. So if you haven't secured your stay here in Arizona for the big game, I advise you to do it now. And, well, if you're from the Valley, well, lucky for you, you're all set. Thank you all for tuning in to the Varsity Sports Show. I'm Beatrice Martinez, and like I always say, make sure you stay plugged in.
You are listening to Under the Radar, a segment based around overlooked players around the AZ area, with your host, Caleb Wiley. Welcome back to another segment of Under the Radar. I am Caleb Wiley, your host, and this segment I'll be talking about two underclassmen that are around the AZ area that are under the radar. You know, they don't have any offers because they're just freshmen and sophomores, so they're two underclassmen, and let's get right into it. So the first player I would like to talk about is Uriah Tennant out of Prescott High School. Now, he is only 5'9", but his stats are really, really good, especially as a sophomore playing varsity. He did start last year, but he did play last year as a freshman as well on varsity. This year, he's averaging 25, 5 assists, 5 rebounds, and 4 steals. So this shows that he is really electric out there. The fact that he has 4 steals just shows that he is not just scoring, he's doing everything. You know, he's grabbing rebounds, he's doing assists. So he is a player out there that, you know, anyone would love to have. And the fact that he is 5'9" might hurt him a little bit, but he'll get at least a D2 scholarship out there with those stats. And this next freshman I just want to give a shout out to is Andrew Watkins out of Mountainside. He is a freshman on varsity, but he is 6'5", so he is grabbing 12 rebounds a game with 9 points and 6 blocks as well. So he is definitely out there playing hard. So he is another one to keep your eyes on. Well, that's all I have for today on Under the Radar. Thank you for listening. Have a blessed day.
The McDonald's All-Americans for this year were released during the early part of last week. But guess what, Arizona? You have a burger boy right in your backyard. Cody Williams is a current senior at Perry High School. The 6'8" senior just earned his red, blue, and white stripes. The big game won't exactly be a walk in the park for Williams. He will face LeBron James' son, Bronny James, from Sierra Canyon in the big game. Sierra Canyon is also home to Juju Watkins, the #1 girls high school player in the nation, according to ESPN. The Perry Pumas varsity boys basketball team currently has a stunning record of 23-1. Williams is averaging 18 points per game. Now, the 5-star recruit is also headed to the University of Colorado. Colorado isn't exactly a major headline in the hoops world, but Williams has aspirations to become a doctor, and the Centennial State is that tops the list in pre-med programs. Williams is a part of a small group from Arizona to participate in this big game. Although McDonald's All-Americans are far and in between for the state of Arizona, the prestigious game sure knows how to pick them. In 2017, Phoenix Suns star DeAndre Ayton had the honor of playing in the game. In ESPN's 2023 player rankings, Williams charts the top 10, sitting at number 6. Williams is no stranger to elite basketball. He's had one of the best players a young star could ask for right at his fingertips, his brother, Jalen Williams. Jalen was drafted by the Oklahoma City Thunder as the 12th overall draft pick. Now, that's it for Alexis with the assist, and we'll see you next week.
Alrighty, welcome back to Phoenix, Arizona. We got a lot coming up here in the second hour, but that was some of our segments from more of our collaborators here. We got a lot coming up in this second hour, including Grand Canyon University Club Report with Dom Hernandez, and we're going to be joined by the women's hockey coach there, Natalie Rossi. So that will be a fun segment to look forward to. But for now, we're going to send you into break, and then when we come back, we're going to have a lot more here in the second hour.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
Broadcasting from the Superbook Sports Studios, KDUS AM 1060 Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
Hello there, my name is Brandon Tran, and I'm a Cronkite student at Arizona State University, and I'm so thrilled to be joining the Varsity Sports Show this semester. As a former athlete myself, I'll be providing content, both boys and girls, as you can follow me on Twitter at BrandonTran70. As I hope to see you all there this semester and provide great content around you.
Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com. In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
Hello, this is local voiceover model and former Daddy Yankee stunt double, Mario Malaby. Be sure to DM us your questions for Ask Lucas on Twitter. And you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
AM 1060 KDUS Tempe, Phoenix, and KSLX HD2 Scottsdale, Phoenix.
This program is made possible by Friends of the Varsity Media Foundation,
a 501c3 nonprofit educational organization.
You are listening
to the Varsity Sports Show.
You are listening to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
On AM 1060 KDUS, Arizona.
Still the home of youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. And now,
welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show.
And now it's time for the GCU Club Report, an in-depth look into the many different club sports that Grand Canyon University has to offer.
Hi everyone, my name is Dominic Hernandez and this is the GCU Club Report. Today I am very excited to be doing an interview with a defender for the GCU women's ice hockey team, Ariana Harden. So Ariana, how are you doing today?
I'm pretty good.
That's great. So I want to start off with, when did you first join this team?
I joined this team 3 years ago, my freshman year.
And how has this team been different from other teams you've been on?
This team is different because it's like more like a family. They build your confidence. When I started off, I couldn't probably talk to anybody, and now I can talk to pretty much anyone. They build your confidence, and it's a great little family.
How would you say that confidence that you built has impacted your life outside of playing the sport?
It's impacted my life in many ways. I'm an engineer, so because of the confidence I built, I'm able to go to like the National Honor Society and talk about women engineering. I'm allowed to actually go out to high schools and talk about engineering there. and I was able to do a lot of different interviews that was helping me in my career field.
It's great. So what has the coach really preferred you to use? What skills have they really want you to use when playing in the sport?
For me, I've been mostly using my speed to play and advance my game and really be able to talk a lot and be confident on the ice.
Lastly, what can we expect from the team for the rest of the season?
We should expect some really good games. We're playing ASU here up soon, and that should be a really good game, and we're expecting to win playoffs, so some really hard work.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. I really appreciate defender for the GCU women's ice hockey team, Ariana Harden, for joining me on this interview today, and good luck on the rest of the season.
Thank you.
This has been the GCU Club Report. Thank you for tuning in.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060 KDUS Arizona. Hour number 2, Vince Delicio, joined in studio by my broadcast colleagues here, Beatrice Martinez, Jake Seaver, and Eric Castellan. And we are joined on the line by GCU Club women's hockey head coach, Natalie Rossi. Coach Rossi, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for joining us today. And I had a couple questions for you from myself as well as the rest of our team. Curious to know a little bit about history of hockey at GCU, and particularly the women's sport.
Yeah, definitely. So we started our women's team in 2017, and that's when we started the women's team. We had the men's team before that. And we've grown ever since then. So we started off with playing at AZ Ice Peoria, and then we moved over to AZ Ice Arcadia. We've just built the program a lot. We started by focusing on our culture, and it's really helped us grow.
All right, Coach. Again, like Vince said, thank you so much for joining us. So you guys played ASU 3 times now, 2 losses, 1 win. You guys do play them on the 10th. That's this coming up Friday. What do you hope to see from your players in this match?
Just a good, hard-fought battle. Our players really have been working hard on playing fast game with really focusing on puck possession. So we're looking for that puck possession piece of the game, as well as more goal scoring. Obviously, that always helps.
And how's it going, Coach? It's great to have you here on the Varsity Sports Show. I would like to know, what is the importance of keeping your emotions intact in a hockey game? I know it's a very emotionally driven sport. What is kind of the importance of making sure that players are kind of able to stay level-headed and stay composed throughout the entirety of a hockey match?
Yeah, well, in a hockey game, it's very important for us to keep our emotions in check. We talk a lot about bringing energy and positivity throughout an entire game, and really not letting our energy get way too high or too low, because either time you get out of control. Kind of have to find that middle ground that works best for each player. So as a team, we talk a lot about focusing between periods to make sure that we keep that energy in check and make sure that we keep ourselves in check and within the glass. As one of the greatest things about hockey is that when you step on the ice, you're inside of the glass, and you can really shut out everything else and focus on what you're doing in the moment.
Hi, Coach. This is Eric. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. We had a chance to hear from Ariana on the segment that we had right before this. And she's from Gilbert, Arizona. What is it like having players that are more homegrown, having some of these players from, Gilbert, Phoenix, Prize, all these other metro areas to come and play for, a team that's close to home for them?
It's definitely a sense of pride for us here. We've worked hard to help grow the youth community, the youth women's hockey community at GCU, and with that, having more and more players that come from Arizona is so important for us. So actually one of our assistant coaches played for us, and she's born and raised here and played hockey here as well. So it just means a lot to all of us on the coaching staff to have local girls. Myself, I've coached youth hockey here for quite a few years, and so has both of our assistant coaches. We all work really hard to make sure that Arizona is a place that gives opportunities for young girls to play hockey, and then we always talk about being a role model to the community by making sure that we're doing what's right and respectful at the rink at all times.
Coach, I do have a question. I want to ask you about recruiting because I know that, being a club sport, we're not talking, the NC2A requirements around recruiting and whatnot, but you get a lot of athletes that come to you because they want to stay active and do something without necessarily the time rigors of, although the time rigors in club sports is pretty intense too. What is that like? How do you fill a roster when when you've got to go out and get some people?
I work hard.
Yeah, I
it's
bet.
Definitely a lot of work. So when we first started, I think I emailed every single 19 and under coach in the entire country, trying to find girls that would be interested in players that would be the right fit. And as we've gone on, we go to tournaments, we talk to players, we utilize a lot of the internet and Live Barn. It's called the rinks each have Live Barn usually, and it shows you video of the rink. So that's always a great tool. And then we interview players. We let our players also talk to prospective players so they can explain what it really looks like to be a student athlete at GCU. The recruiting's it's honestly one of the more fun parts. We run a prospect camp each year where we really get girls involved, and they can see the way that we run GCU hockey on the ice, and then also talk to us off the ice and tour campus as well. But recruiting's always been something that I enjoy doing because it's your time to kind of brag about your program and the success that we've had.
So, Coach, backing off of that, so you just talking about recruitment, you do have 6 seniors on the team. So what do you hope to see in this next season to come? And I know you just talked a little bit about, you love recruiting because you get to brag about, your program. So, and what else would you like to see, just from your underclassmen, from having such a good group of veterans, 6 seniors, what do you hope that your underclassmen kind of just gain from these 6 leaders that you do have on your team?
Well, first, you're very right with our seniors. Our seniors have been incredible for us for the last 4 years. That senior class was one of our strongest classes that we've brought in, and they've grown so much. So it's always fun to watch the players grow. I think all of our players have learned a lot from our seniors. When you look at our roster of seniors, each one of them brought a different aspect of leadership that helped us become the team that we are now. Each player that we are looking to replace, really honestly, we look at first when we talk to a recruit, are you a good person? Are you coachable? And we really look at those intangibles because it's very hard to teach a player to be coachable or to be a good person overall. And then we look at, we always want players who are fast and strong and know the game very well as well. Right now, we're looking for forwards, defensemen overall, and another goalie because we do carry 2 right now, and it's always nice to have 3 on a roster.
And then, Coach, what are some of the expectations that you have for your players in terms of training and conditioning and preparing for that stretch before game day?
So we practice 2 days a week for an hour and a half each practice on the ice, and then we have 3 hours a week of off-ice practice as well, where the girls 2 times a week will work out in our gym on campus. And then 1 day a week, we go over to our roller rink on campus, and that's where we work on our face-offs, 6-on-5. We really get to work on some of the concepts that we don't have enough time to work on the ice. Each player is invited to our study hall as well, because being a student is so important. That's what leads you to the rest of your life. So our players really focus on being a student athlete overall. And yeah, we do video as well. The players have weekly meetings that we go over what we're looking at for the week. And they all know that they have to also complete independent workouts in order to really keep themselves ready to go for the weekend.
All right, Coach Rossi, I got one more question for you. It's kind of hard to talk about this in a team sport, but every team needs one. Who would you say has been the biggest leader, or even leaders if you have more than one, on this team, coming down into the stretch, coming towards playoff time?
Gosh, that's one of the hardest questions. This year we didn't name captains, and the reason why was, like I said, our senior class, our junior class are both so strong, and even our sophomore class, we have such strong individuals there that it wasn't that one person was leading our team. We have a group of players. If you look at our stats, obviously, Annabelle Cosi has 1.28 points per game, and that's always, very good. We have Reese Gingrich with 1 point per game, and then we follow that up with 2 other players who have almost 1 point per game in Micah Summer and Rory Artiaga, who is a freshman. But, you talk to Ariana, and I'm sure you can tell she's a leader on our team through maturity. She's helped out with the local youth community along with Belle Lacombe. I can say one thing about every single player on this roster that makes them a leader overall. So we're really lucky to not just be able to say one player is a leader. I can tell you how every single player is a leader and an important part of this team.
Coach, one quick question for you, really, really quick. Do you have any opportunities for 50-something-year-old males that aren't very active? Can you give me a jersey and let me just walk on the ice once or twice and say I'm on the team?
We're always looking for people to do stats.
Oh, stats. Okay, thanks. All right, go ahead, Jake.
Once again, thank you to the head coach of GCU Women's Hockey, Coach Natalie Rossi, for joining us on the show. Thank you once again. And as we continue here on the Varsity Sports Show, once again, we've got some exciting guests. We've got the Trivium Prep basketball coach, Matthew Randall. We've got a segment from our very own Miss Jodeci, the JUCO Sports Report, and we are really excited to bring that to you as we continue here on the Varsity Sports Show.
Check out KDUS AM 1060 on 100.7 KSLX HD2. That's right, HD Radio on 100.7 channel number 2.
Hi, this is Mesa Community College Assistant Athletic Director Mike Lavella and Modern Day Invincible. You're listening to AM 1060, the Varsity Sports Show, the home of all your junior college sports coverage.
Hello, my name is Dominic Hernandez and I am currently working at the Varsity Sports Show. I am a senior at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communications at Arizona State University. I will be working various jobs from working the camera to doing play-by-play of games. I can't wait to see what unique stories there will be in this upcoming high school sports season and be able to cover all the different sports that every high school has to offer.
Chris Scott of RE/MAX is Central Oregon's best realtor for anyone thinking of a vacation home or relocation. He's our very own born and raised Phoenician who moved his family to Central Oregon nearly 15 years ago. Contact Chris if you're thinking of exploring beautiful Central Oregon. It truly is living at its best. 541-999-5614. Proud partner of the Varsity Sports Shows, it's Dylan.
Hi everyone, my name is Mary Grace Armistead. I'm a sports journalism major and former athlete at the University of Arizona. I know what it takes to be an athlete, and I'm excited to represent Varsity Sports Show this semester to showcase our talented Arizona athletes. I can't wait to bring fire for our listeners this semester.
HD Radio is here for KDUS AM 1060. Check out your favorite shows and games on 100.7 KSLX HD2.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show, AM 1060, KDUS, Arizona. You know, it's interesting because we cover a lot of schools, every level, and I can't tell you the level of excitement from the other night of Thursday night. We went out and covered a game. We broadcasted, live streamed a game. It was Trivium Prep. It was a big rivalry. Trivium hosting Arizona Lutheran, and we worked it out. Went out there. Athletic director Kayla Walsh does a great job. Worked with her in the past when she was out at Veritas, and had a chance to get to know Coach Matthew Randall and out at Trivium. And he told us pregame. He said, "This is a big game." And I said, Coach, between us, what does this thing kind of look like? And he goes, hey, I'll be honest with you. It's back and forth. We don't know how this is going to turn out. And boy, was he right. Coach Randall, how are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you doing?
Coach, that was, you had the highest of highs and emotions coming off that game. And that was incredible. You talk about a buzzer beater at the very end. Describe that. The final seconds of the game. The last 2 seconds, you're talking to your team, 2.6 seconds left, and then the ensuing play that resulted in you guys taking the win. The stands were cleared. Fans rushed the court. I mean, talk to us about the seconds leading up to that.
Well, I'll tell you, before leading up to that, I didn't want it to come down to that right there. It was it's just one of those games. We've been in, I've been here for 6 years, been in this type of environment. We've actually had another buzzer beater against them about 3 years ago at their place when I was an assistant coach. So I've been in, all type of wars. So I wasn't really worried. But, for the play, it was simple. It was a short corner play. We ran a few times. We basically just wanted to, have our shooter, which was KK, come off a kind of a stagger screen, and then hopefully get the slip, which we did. And we were just going to go to our best player's hand, and that was Sammy. I felt like, they were going to put the Luis, the smaller guard, on the inbounder, which would allow my guard to make the perfect pass to him, which he did. And I just said, just throw it up to him. And if he's not there, then the second option would have been either Heesong or Jeff, who was wide open on the play. But we were just going to put it in our best player's hands. And, when I seen him catch it, and especially, he's a right-handed player, but he shoots it really well left-handed. So, and then he put the shot through. So it was just a play that we ran and a few times in the past, and just went to it, and it worked out for the best. Thank God, because they had a lot of momentum if we were going to go into overtime.
Coach Randall, this is Beatrice here. Thank you so much for joining. So your next game, it's your last home game, I believe, and this is against Kingman Academy, who right now is 9-14. You guys play them on Tuesday, right? It's your last home game. What would you like to see your boys execute, and what areas would you like to see them execute offensively and defensively?
Well, Kingman, they play a 2-2-1 full court, which gives us a chance to work on our press break. We don't really get pressed too much, but when we do it, it is very helpful for us to get some practice in and get our guys ready to execute. It'll be senior night, so it's going to be a big night. Hopefully get a chance to get we have 7 seniors, to get some of our seniors in and give them a chance to have their last hoorah in front of their home crowd. It's going to be an amazing environment, but we just want to make sure that we just go ahead and handle business. Right now, after beating Lutheran, we moved up into the standings, so we're now 7th currently. And if we win on Tuesday, then we'll be in the top 8, which means that we'll have our 5th straight playoff berth outright. So that's our main goal. We want to make sure that we get a chance to win that game so that we go to the playoffs, but also be able to be in another opportunity to win region too, because currently we're just one power point away from jumping Lutheran. So we're just trying to just control our own destiny and get to state, and hopefully also be able to get region championship as well.
Alrighty, Coach. Thank you so much for joining us. You guys are coming into the playoffs here, 13-4 after your last home game. That is on Tuesday. But good luck for the rest of the season, and have a good rest of your day.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate you guys coming out. You guys did an amazing job, and I hope you guys have a great week.
Trivium Prep, Matthew Randall. Thanks again, Coach Randall. Looking forward to working with you much more so. And I got to grow a beard like you. My stuff looks really bad. It's like a 6th grade kid trying to grow a mustache is what it looks like on me. So I don't know how you do it, but it's pretty amazing. It's impressive. Anyway,
thank you
you're welcome. All right, Coach.
All right, have a great day. Bye.
Welcome to the Varsity Sports Show. This is the JUCO Sports Report. And now, here is Jodeci Ariana with the JUCO Sports Report.
Welcome to the JUCO Sports Report. I am Jodeci Ariana. Today, I'm here for the first live interview. I'm here with Unisa Yuyu Ture. Yuyu, how are you today?
I'm doing good. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. Thank you for asking. Good. So, when did you know you wanted to play basketball?
Watching my big brother play, honestly, because before I would watch the NBA, but I would just watch it for fun. I didn't know it's something you could do for real, I just really got inspired with my big brother. Just watching him play, seeing how good he was, the type of shots he made, so I'm that looks fun to do.
And what led you to Scottsdale Community College?
COVID, really.
COVID.
Honestly,
Okay.
yeah, Coach Bunker, he was the quickest coach to reach out during COVID. He coached my brother in high school, so it was kind of like
family ties.
Yeah, basically.
Okay, and then so that was 2020 when you came to Scottsdale Community College. Okay, perfect. Now, how do you balance being a student athlete?
God.
Amen. Amen.
Honestly,
Yeah.
just it's not easy, you know, especially like trying to keep up with school, practice, basketball, like other life situations going on, you know. But just, I don't know, trying to stay consistent in the gym, you know, as well as in my studies and with school, just, you know, finding time, like instead of being on social media, use that time for homework, you know, so that I can have as much time necessary to get shots up in the gym too.
Okay, grinding, staying grinding. Okay. And what does your faith mean to you?
A lot. You gotta have a strong faith, honestly, because at the end of the day, if you don't have faith in what you're working towards, you're just working for no reason.
What is your game day routine?
Honestly, wake up in the morning, take a cold shower, you know, get my mental straight, pray on my knees, eat a good breakfast, decide to the school for shoot around, and then we watch film, and after that, go get like a sandwich from Sprouts, you know, essential water, body armor, just staying hydrated, maybe a banana or an orange, get some fruit in there, some cashews or pistachios, and then just listening to gospel music, you know, talking to my mom.
Favorite gospel song?
You Will Win.
Okay.
Jacqueline
Yeah,
Carr.
I love her. I love her. Very inspirational. Okay.
That gets me turned.
Yes. Okay. I like it. I like it. Okay. So what goals did you set yourself at the beginning of the season?
Honestly, just trying to repeat with my team, go back to back, regional champions. This time, actually, get conference champions if we get the chance. Back to nationals. That's a goal. Winning this time though, because I feel like we have the team to do it this year. For me, I like playing with these guys. It's fun, so I feel like we can win nationals this year.
You know, when it's fun, it just flows back.
Exactly.
It flows back.
Exactly. If you're not having fun, it's harder.
Yeah. No, it is.
Yeah.
Y'all seem pretty cohesive, so I'm excited to see.
Exactly.
Excited to see.
So am I. I'm excited to be a part of it.
Okay. All right, you. Player of the week 2 times. This is Unisa Ture. Thank you for being here with me today.
Thank you so much for having me.
This has been Jodeci Ariana with the JUCO Sports Report. We will see you next time.
Hello, sports fan, as you're listening to the NIA Sports Report coming from Varsity Sports. Hi there, this is Brandon Tran from the Varsity Sports Show, as I'll be reporting on NAIA Sports Report and recapping the games from last week, as I'll be focusing on Benetton softball and baseball, as Benetton University is located in Mesa. So let's start with the recap. Starting off with baseball, as they're off to a 3-1 start as they open the season with a win over Taylor University, 3-2. Also, they follow up beating Panhandle State University 11-1, but unfortunately they would lose on that doubleheader to the College of Idaho 13-10. Then they end up bouncing back and beat Kansas Westland 6-3, making them 3-1, as they hope to follow it up and keep it up throughout the season, as that's the best way to start off your week and your season for the baseball team. Coming to the other side is softball, as they open the season with a 7-6 win against Ottawa, winning on a walk-off error, as Tia Craig had 3 RBIs and 2 hits in that game, along with new head coach Tina French earning her first win as a Red Hawk. Unfortunately, they would lose that second game of the doubleheader to Ottawa 14-5, and then coming out the next day playing the College of Idaho in back-to-back games, but losing to both doubleheader 8-0 and 13-2, making the Red Hawks 1-3. Discipline of their record, they can still turn it around. As of right now, they're just glad to be back on the field. As that'll wrap things up for this week for the NIA Sports Report and the recap. As I'm Brandon Tran, signing out.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show. This again is your girl from the Valley, as I always say and will continue to say, Beatrice Martinez. That was our very own Jodeci and Brandon. And I don't know about you guys, but the JUCO Sports Report really hit home for me because, you know why? Out of high school, I went to 2 junior colleges. I went to Glendale Community College, and then I transferred to Mesa Community College. And then after that, I received a track scholarship to Academy of
I have
University.
a question for you, Beatrice. You said you played basketball at JUCO, so you played at Glendale?
I did.
What was that like? What was the rigors of even being a junior college student athlete like?
Yeah, so not only, sorry, losing my voice here. Not only did I play basketball, I was actually a three-sport athlete. I was running cross country, I ran track, and I was playing ball. So my schedule was very hectic. On top of that, I was also just, working because I have to pay for my apartment, of course. But, it's definitely a grind, but you gain so much from that. And I just feel like you mature so much just as an individual and an athlete. But, I wouldn't take it back. Eventually I got a little too much. And then when I was offered my athletic scholarship to a D2 school out in San Francisco, eventually I had to cut it short to just one sport, but I still ended up doing cross country and track because if you're a mid-distance runner, you're destined to still run cross country in college.
What do we have coming up next?
All right. So coming up next, we have our very own Hannah Pettiferry, who's going to be giving us the Aztec Report, who is sponsored by the Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Thank you guys so much again for tuning in. This is the Varsity Sports Show, and we will be back here shortly.
Ready to bring KDUS AM 1060 into your home with Alexa?
Hi, I'm Alexa.
Download the KDUS AM 1060 skill and enable. Then say, Alexa, open KDUS AM 1060.
This is where I start my day.
Hi, my name is Maya Denise Gaskin, and I'm a 19-year-old student pursuing a degree in broadcast journalism at the University of Arizona. With a passion for sports and a strong background in dance and performance, I'm excited to pursue my dream of becoming a sports broadcaster. In addition to my professional experience, I have a track record of academic success and leadership throughout my community. I currently serve as your Miss Arizona Teen USA, and I'm eager to use my skills and talents to make a positive impact in the world of sports.
This is Coach Lucas Ramirez, and you are listening to the home of the Saguaro Sabercats, the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS.
Sports, sports, sports. Hello everyone, my name is Sebastian Mondaka, and it's a pleasure of mine to be a part of the Varsity Sports Show this spring. I'm a current undergraduate student studying at the Walter Cronkite School of Journalism and Mass Communication. I'm still unsure of what exactly I want to pursue in sports journalism. However, I hope to learn and advance my knowledge under the Varsity Sports Show and create great memories with you. Let's make this a great year and let's strive for greatness.
The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe, with an experience so good it remains indescribable, with something for every seafood lover. Try one of their amazing custom seafood boils, sandwiches, appetizers, and salads. Angry Crab Shack Tempe is located east of I-10 on Warner Road, 480-674-3847. The Angry Crab Shack in Tempe. Come ready to eat.
Need social information about KDUS AM 1060? Try KDUS1060.com, at KDUS AM 1060 on Twitter, and Facebook.com/KDUS AM 1060.
Hello and happy Saturday. My name is Hannah Pettiferry, and you are listening to the Varsity Sports Show segment of the Aztec Report. The Aztec Report is sponsored by Angry Crab Shack of Tempe, located near the I-10 and Warner Road. Also, I apologize in advance. I am feeling a bit under the weather, but this week I had the opportunity to sit down with two seniors from Corona del Sol's softball team, Jackie and Isabel. Here's that interview right now. Jackie, what specific aspects about Biola's softball program influenced your decision to commit to that school?
So as far as the softball program, I went to one of their camps and I went to a couple of their games, and I just saw like their energy, and it was so welcoming and like inspiring to want to continue to play softball. It's more of like a family and a community rather than just like you're just here to play softball and then go to school. Like it's more like a family. So that's why I mostly chose it.
And then, Isabel, what are some things that make you hesitant to commit to a certain school right now?
Well, going into my junior year, that's when you can start talking to colleges and, commit.
I wasn't too sure I wanted to play softball. It's like, am I even at that level? Do I want this going forward? So my junior year, I kind of slacked contacting colleges. I didn't know if I was going to play, what level was I going to play at. And then my senior year, like, a switch flipped, and I was like, okay, like, I want to play. And I had been talking to some D2 schools, and I went on a visit to one, and I really liked it. And like Jackie said, they're very, like, family. They care about you on a personal level. And with that one school that I had visited, I was like, okay, I really like this. But one, they're expensive, and two, like, they weren't at the competition level that I was really looking to play at. So right now, looking at colleges and talking to colleges, price point is a big proponent of what I'm looking at. I don't want too expensive. I don't want to be going into debt. I love the game of softball, but just to play it, I don't want to be having to, get into debt, thousands of dollars, just for me to, like, have my degree, but be in debt. So money's a big one, and distance from home. I love my family. I do want to be out of state. I'm okay with that, but like at a certain point. So those are the two main things that have kind of kept me from committing. And being late, a lot of the top schools, not top schools, but a lot of schools commit their class of 2023, their junior year. So there's limited spots for me. I had just visited a school this past weekend, and they're like, we really like you, but we don't know where you fit in without carrying too many girls. So that's kind of where I'm at right now, committing wise, but yeah.
Jackie and Isabel, what part of the game do you feel will have the biggest differences and present the most challenges going from high school to college?
I definitely think it's going to be a mental game, definitely like my freshman year, because I come from a team where, I'm playing every game, starting this and that, in school ball, starting, getting awards, and then I'm going to come on here a freshman, and I'm probably going to be sitting the bench most of the time. So just overcoming that and dealing with it and still working hard, but having a good mindset about it will definitely be the hardest for me.
And Isabel, what are your thoughts?
I have to agree with Jackie. I think the hardest part of softball in general is the mental game, and coming off from, starting off on our club team, starting in school ball, you're just kind of like given that little chip on your shoulder. But then you get into your freshman year and you're going to be a little underdog. Like, these girls, they know what they're doing, and you're just you're there. So you have to work hard and keep grinding, and softball is a sport of failure, so you have to understand that and be like, okay, I failed. What am I going to do to fix it? What am I going to do to work on? So I think, just like Jackie said, have a good mindset going into it, and keep that mindset throughout it. Like, don't give up. Don't be too hard on yourself, because you're your own worst enemy at the end of the day. So
Right. Well, it looks like that is all the time we do have. Thank you guys for hopping on here.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Once again, that was Jackie and Isabel with the Corona del Sol softball team. Thank you for listening, and we will see you next week on the Varsity Sports Show. I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And this is Hannah signing off.
Hi everyone, welcome back to Hustle with Houston. In this week's segment, we'll be getting a closer look inside Isaiah's training camp and what sets him apart from other professional athletes, as well as who he has winning Super Bowl 57.
So yeah, we offer our training at Arizona Christian University off of 59th Avenue in Greenway. And that reason being because that's where I attended school and graduated from. So they're nice enough to let me use their facilities. And, big credit to Arizona Christian. It's a great school. Great opportunities for kids that not quite at that D1 level, but definitely have the ability to play college football. And that ties in with our training. One of ACU's coaches, Coach Al Freeman, is out there with me on Sundays and at 10 a.m. Also Thursdays, 4:30 p.m. So we offer 2 weekly sessions. It's for any skill players, quarterbacks, running backs, receivers, defensive backs. We take them through speed and agility, as well as position work, and then let them compete and do one-on-ones and a little 7-on-7 action as well. So, it's a great chance for the kids to get high-quality work from a current professional myself, and then also, like I said, Coach Alan Freeman from Arizona Christian University. And also, it gives them a chance to get scouted and possibly recruited to ACU, like I said, for those kids that aren't quite at that D1 level but have the ability to keep playing college football and want to stay close to home. So it's a great option for high school kids and youth kids to get out there weekly, and we'll continue to offer that.
When you were younger, when your aspirations of becoming a professional football player, did you have something like this for you, or did you start this because of not having many opportunities?
Right. So my dad, he played college football. I was a college quarterback up at NAU. He was a high school All-American here in the Valley at Shadow Mountain High School. But he was kind of always my coach growing up at Pop Warner. But like you said, once I got into high school, didn't really have anything like this, any chance to work with a current professional. There was a few guys that maybe played back in the day, but they just kind of, speak for 5 minutes, maybe come to a practice or something, but nobody like holding weekly sessions. So it definitely inspired me to kind of give back to the kids, and in a way I saw that could really benefit them and teach them the game at a high level, and not just, your basic training sessions that you can find anywhere. So it's definitely great quality work for the kids, and definitely inspired me to offer it to them, like you said, because I didn't really have that in high school, and I feel like if I did, it could have just helped me even that much more. So that's definitely why I kind of got started with this, for sure.
And you mentioned that you said that, other people and players do maybe like a 5-minute talk and maybe take a look at practice. In terms of what sets your camp different from others, what sets it apart, you kind of touched on it there, but what would you say is so different about how your camp is run compared to other professional athletes?
Yeah, I think it's really the attention to detail and the passion we have for the kids. We want to see the kids get better and progress each week. And we work on game-like scenarios, situations that they'll see during the game, and it's kind of almost like a practice. So I try to mimic it, kind of how my professional practice go. With a little warm-up, you do your little position work, and then you come together for a little competition. And it's not just anybody can go in the backyard and lay down the ladder and do some footwork drills and stuff, but we're really teaching them the game and how it's played at a high level. So I think that's definitely what separates us, from the competition.
What would you say has been the best reward from this experience in terms of feedback from the kids that come through the camp and where they are now? Have you seen kind of that reward in past prospects?
Oh, for sure. So there's a couple kids who I started working with when maybe they were freshman or sophomore, and now I've gotten a few of them scholarships to Arizona Christian University. So I think just being able to see their joy and their happiness that they know they get a chance to keep playing beyond high school and stay home and to do it in front of their family and friends. It's definitely rewarding for me to be able to offer that and to help, facilitate that process. So it's definitely the biggest thing for me, seeing those kids be able to get those college opportunities and continue playing on and continue their dreams.
For the Super Bowl, who are we rooting for?
Oh, I've been Chiefs all the way. My dad was a diehard Chiefs fan, so I grew up rooting for the Chiefs. So we're rolling with Patty Mahomes and the Chiefs for sure.
Okay, well, we'll have to see how it goes.
Definitely.
Be sure to follow Isaiah on his social media, Twitter at IsaiahHouston7 and Instagram at I_Houston7. That'll do it for us today on today's segment of Hustle with Houston. We'll see you next time.
Welcome back to the Varsity Sports Show on AM 1060 KDUS Arizona, and Olivia Herzberg doing a great job in working with our old friend Isaiah Houston. Isaiah is quite a story. He is a local athlete, came up through, graduated from Boulder Creek up in Anthem, and was just a phenomenal wide receiver. How do I know this? Because I was one of his I say this, take it with a grain of salt. I coached him into the junior college at Phoenix College. He was our leading receiver and did everything. Kick return, punt return. I mean, this guy was, your utility guy, and he was also our top receiver. And we got him placed as a preferred walk-on at Arizona State, kept him close to home, and that didn't work out. And it ended up leading him to, and not for lack of effort, sometimes programs just aren't a fit. And he ended up, fortunately, was able to transfer to Arizona Christian and just flourished. And when I say flourish, he flourished as an athlete. led the team in receiving, was just phenomenal, overcame some obstacles, some adversity, and just flourished as a human being. And now, so happy for him. He's a professional athlete, plays for the Arizona Rattlers, looking for bigger and better things. He is just a monster, and he also coaches kids. He works with kids, and so if you need some coaching, we talked about that. He holds camps, and he's a great person. Eric, what do we have coming up next?
Oh, we got a lot coming up in this final stretch here. We got the AZ High School highlights with Sebastian Mendoca, and then we have our last guest caller of the day, and that's going to be Al Luna. He's the head coach of Imagine Prep Surprise boys basketball, and he's going to be talking to us about his season and what he looks forward to for the rest of the season.
Awesome. Folks, stick around. Don't go anywhere. Final segment coming up. Beatrice, Jake, and Eric joined in studio here on the Varsity Sports Show. We'll be right back. Go Varsity.
Your caddy, Ray Adams, takes you beyond the 18th hole on Saturday mornings with Great American Golf from 6 to 7 a.m. on KDUS AM 1060.
Hey guys, Vince here to talk to you about a good friend of mine named Bob Jenkins. Bob is a Marine Corps veteran. Bob and his younger brother DJ own Vets Built Contracting. You've seen their trucks around Metro Phoenix, I'm sure. For 5 years, they've been hiring and putting veterans to work. Vets Built is licensed, bonded, and insured, both residential and commercial, specializing in renovations, remodeling, new build, casitas, safe rooms, or small commercial TI work. If you're a skilled veteran looking for work, a homeowner in need of work, or a commercial business needing TI work, please call Bob or DJ at Vets Built at 480-584-3675. Hey, local businesses, join the Varsity Sports Show and promote your business on our weekly radio show and game live streams. We have several options to promote your business affordably and reach our incredible audience. Call, text, or email us anytime if you'd like more information on joining our team. The Varsity Sports Show will work hard to promote your business through our audio and video platforms while also promoting all of our young people. 480-779-9437 or email us at varsitysportshow.com. In 2019, the JV Sports Show podcast began with the idea of spotlighting young people in our community. In time, that podcast evolved into radio, television, and live stream, and through that evolution, new ideas have enhanced delivery, giving a stage to students both in front of and behind the microphone in Arizona and beyond. Thank you for supporting the Varsity Sports Show, now the Varsity Media Foundation, a 501c3 educational organization.
Hey everyone, my name is Eric Castellan, and thank you for tuning in to the Varsity Sports Show. I am currently a senior at Arizona State University, attending the Walter Cronkite School of Mass Communications and Journalism. I'm originally from California, but I moved to Arizona because of all the sports that are available out here, and I can't wait to bring you all the high school sports that we cover, whether you're listening or watching. Stay tuned.
Easy Sports Talk with former NFL and MLB player Ed Smith and co-host Javon Adams airs Saturday mornings 10 to noon on KDUS AM 1060.
Good morning, Arizona. Welcome to this segment presented by the Varsity Sports Show that features high school highlights from the Valley. Sebastian has some special news for you. Let's see what's in store today. Hello everyone, and welcome to this week's segment on a beautiful Saturday morning. I hope everyone woke up today with excitement and joy as I bring you some great highlights from the Valley. Starting off, we have number 10 Mountain View defeating number 9 Mesa 53-52. Continue on, we discuss a bit about Brady Henage, who has been becoming an icon for Cactus High School. Lastly, we have a post-game interview with Buckeye Union head coach Regina Early, presented by Sabrina Giles. Let's get into this day. On Tuesday night, the top 10 6A rivals and neighbors, number 9 Mesa and number 10 Mountain View, faced off in another nail-biting matchup. With less than a second left, the crucial points were decided in a close game. With just a few seconds left, Mountain View Nate Boggle made 2 free throws to cap a comeback and defeat Mesa 53-52 at Jackrabbit Gym. This was the final of his 18 points for the game. With the victory, Mountain View and new head coach Andy Johnson secured the East Valley region title. With 1 game remaining, the Turtles, who have a 16-10 overall record, have a dominating 9-0 record in region play. In the final week of the regular season, Mesa, which has an 18-6 record and 6-2 in region play, was the only school with a chance to tie or overtake Mountain View for region domination. An intense game between both teams, but a heartbreaking loss for Mesa. Continuing on, we have Brady Henage. Due to a streak of outrageous stat lines, Brady Henage of Cactus High School is one of the nation's top high school basketball rebounders and is catching the attention of Division I college schools. The 7-foot junior helped the Cobras defeat Estrella Foothills last week with 39 points and 26 rebounds after tallying 40 points and 23 rebounds in the victory over Goldwater back on January 20th. Henage averages 29 points, 21.3 rebounds, 4 blocks, and 2 assists a game this season. Cactus is number 5 among Arizona's 4A teams with a record of 20-4, their first 20-win campaign in 20 years. This season, Henage has posted a double-double in each game. He recorded a triple-double in a 72-71 victory over Dysart in December, scoring 39 points, pulling down 26 rebounds, and blocking 10 shots. He scored a season-high 50 points against Northwest Christian 4 days earlier. An absolute monster on the court. Expect many records to be broken by Brady. Lastly, Buckeyes girls basketball team defeated Copper Canyon with a score of 71-41. Sabrina Giles brought in a beautiful post-game interview with Coach Regina Early. Let's tune in.
I know you asked me what I liked, the defense, the offense, but what we need to improve on is being consistent coming out the second half. Not just come out because you got to lead. No, you got to come out and play that second half just as well as you did that first half.
Yeah, obviously you touched on it a little bit, what you want to see. You guys are back here tomorrow. Big night tomorrow, obviously. Team right down the street, and especially tomorrow, senior night. What are you hoping to see, and what do you want to take away from this game to apply to tomorrow's game?
I want that defense to come out. If defense come out, and everything else will take.
Defense wins championships, as Coach Early noted that she wanted her defense to shine, and it obviously did as her team won the next game 57-26, only allowing 26 points. That's all I have to offer for this week's segment of AZ High School Highlights. I hope you enjoy, and as always, may every one of you have an amazing varsity day.
Hey, what's going on, Coach? We are here speaking with the head coach of Imagine Prep Surprise Basketball, Coach Al Luna. Coach, how you doing today?
Good. How about yourself?
Doing well, and we are really excited. We actually will be broadcasting your game. I will be calling the game, and my partner here on the mic as well, Beatrice Martinez, will be doing color for your guys' game against Basis Scottsdale on the 6th. And we are just really excited to watch you guys out there and play. You've had a great season so far. I believe it was 12-0 so far. And what, Coach, has been the key to that success for you guys going so far this season?
I feel like it's our defense this year. And we got a great group of guys right now that are just buying into what we're doing. And they're just feeding off of each other. Instead of just being one particular guy, it's all 5, 6, 7 guys just kind of feeding off each other. So I think it's our defense this year has kind of set the tone for us.
And, Coach, you guys, hi, I'm Beatrice Martinez, by the way. I'm looking forward to meeting you on Monday. But for now, so you guys have 7 seniors on your team. I know you were just speaking a little bit about, the leaders on your team. You have many players on your team who are contributing in their own way. But with 7 seniors, you guys do have a lot of leadership. And so what do you hope to see in this, postseason with these seniors? And what do you hope to see maybe your other younger classmen kind of gain from these 7 seniors that you have on your team?
Well, like our postseason, I think we should be able to get far in the playoffs. I think we can make another run at the state championship like we did last year. Obviously, we fell short last year. And I think these younger guys can be part of that and kind of just get that experience and that for the next couple of years that they're going to play.
And, Coach, one thing that you mentioned answering that first question was the teamwork on this team. One sophomore on your team, Jalen Cassidy, averaging almost 7 assists per game. How can you speak on his role in that kind of team chemistry?
he's the sophomore of the team, but he's the leader of the team. I mean, he's the youngest of all of the group, but just his poise and his stature and his I call him a floor general, and that's what he does for us. He just kind of just dictates what we're going to do. And I mean, he's a sophomore on paper, but he plays more like he's been doing it for a while.
Coach, I have a question for you, and I know you're very humble about this, but I'm looking at some of the margins of victory here. Your average margin of victory looks to be like 40 to 50 points. I mean, you're obviously scoring some points. You're playing solid defense. Can anybody match up with you guys?
I think if we keep playing the way we're playing, no, honestly. I mean, and that's just the truth of that. But it's the defense that sets the tone for us. I think we got 5, like I said, guys on the floor that are just buying in, and they're all contributing. It's not like we're kind of hiding a kid or trying to okay, we're going to be exposed. They're all contributing. They bought in coming in this year. I'm so happy for them that they're doing that, and I feel like it's going to be tough to beat us if we play our game.
All right, Coach, this is Eric. Thank you for joining us here again. Like you said, going into the playoffs, you guys feel very good about, going back, making a deep run. What would you say is this team's biggest strength going into this playoff run?
Our biggest strength, I would say defense.
Yeah, hands down right there.
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
That's period right there.
Yeah, that's
defense,
it.
period.
Defense, yeah. And I think just how there's the bond that these guys have created and the chemistry that they play. I think that's one of the biggest strengths, just being able to play as a team collectively.
Coach, I have a quick question for you. Brady, he's your junior on the team, and he's 6'8". So I'm looking at the picture right now in your guys' roster, and he's just so much taller than the rest of your team. So how do you think that other players that you guys face in the playoffs are are they gonna be able to keep up with Brady, or what are your thoughts on that?
I feel like we got the advantage, just like I said. He's 6'8". So they got to kind of pick their poison. Do you double down on him? Do you leave him open? What do you do with them? Do you have some coverage on him? So I feel like we have the advantage because of his height, and he's a big man that can play.
All right, Imagine Prep Surprise boys basketball coach, the Storm, Coach Al Luna. Coach, thank you so much for joining us this morning. I can't tell you, we're beyond excited. We're going to be covering some prep basketball on Monday night. We'll be on the broadcast coverage. Will start about 5:45. Beatrice doing pregame interviews. We're going to catch up with you on Monday, and then of course Jake will be calling the game. Thank you so much for the opportunity. We'll see you on Monday. Good luck.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it.
All right, that was Coach Al Luna from Imagine Prep, the Storm, out in Surprise. So that game is a little earlier, tip-off 6 p.m. We'll start coverage about 15 minutes before 5:45. Look for the links to the live stream on our Twitter @Varsity Show. Guys, we're wrapping up another show here. I mean, we're about done. So, left to right. Beatrice, what were your thoughts?
I thought it was great. I think it's just awesome to have so many coaches from the Valley just to hop on here and join us and talk about their season and talk about, postseason and just basketball in general, because of course I am a basketball girl. So this was definitely, this was great.
I'm gonna come back to you, Jake, but Eric, what about you?
Today was great. I love talking about basketball. I've gotten more into it ever since I've moved to Arizona. But got the Open being revealed, got more 6A, 5A. But yeah, it's been all basketball, and it's been a pretty free and easy day, I'd say. Just love talking about sports in general. So
a lot of fun coming up. And Jake Seaver, how about you?
Well, basketball and covering basketball is one of my passions. So, getting to be in the studio for today was a wonderful experience, getting to hear from all these coaches here in the Valley. It was awesome catching up with them. And then once again, we're looking forward to a great matchup again on Monday night with Imagine Prep going up against Basis Scottsdale. So I'm really excited for everything that we have to come.
Big thank you to all of our guests today that joined us here on the Varsity Sports Show. Coach Al Luna, Imagine Prep, the Storm. We've got their game on Monday night. Tune in for that. And, of course, thank you to all of our pre-recorded segments by our amazing, talented staff, all the features that we did, as well as Coach Ricky Fishbaugh, Buckeye boys basketball, Coach Regina Early, Buckeye girls basketball, Coach Matthew Randall, Trivium Prep, big buzzer beater the other night. Can they continue that momentum into the playoffs? I think so. And thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show. Without you, there is no us. Thanks again to our broadcast team joining us in studio, Beatrice Martinez, Jake Seaver, Eric Castellone. Coming up next, Easy Sports, Ed Smith, Javon Adams, Coach Smith, and then the best producer behind the glass, Aaron Decker. Thanks again, guys. We'll see you next week. Same varsity time, same varsity channel, 8 to 10 a.m. Vince DeLisio, out.
Thank you for listening to the Varsity Sports Show, where our mission is to empower education and enable dreams, creating an unmatched platform to showcase talent both in front of and behind the microphone in radio, television, podcast, and live streaming. The Varsity Sports Show, still your home for youth, high school, college, and you in Arizona and beyond.
Broadcasting from the Superbook Sports Studios, KTUS AM 1060 Tempe, Phoenix, and